Welcome to the Becoming Aware podcast, where I, Genevieve Faulkner, share what I'm becoming aware of.
Hello and welcome to Becoming Aware. My name is Genevieve Faulkner, your host, and today I wanted to talk to you guys about what I learned from playing slot machines. Bit of a weird topic, but I am someone that really would like this planet to be more magical. And I think in order to get there, we all have to acknowledge the magic of us and what capacities we have that is considered beyond normal. Now, I think a lot of people that have all sorts of weird capacities, some they haven't realized they have the capacities, and others they're hiding them because we have, when there's a lot of people all having a certain idea about what's possible or what they're willing to receive, that kind of creates what's considered normal. But anyone that's got anything beyond that, to those people, will be kind of judged or seen as delusional, insane, weird, a freak, crazy, all of this kind of stuff. And I think that there's people out there that have all sorts of cool capacities that they go into the wrongness of, and judge themselves for, or try and hide because they don't want to be seen as these things. So if we that are magic and know that we are magic are willing to talk about it more, maybe that would create a different normal for this planet. And what would that be like if we were all willing to be that weird? So I wanted to talk about the magic that I've had experience with regards to slot machines. But there's two elements to this, because there is also an element of slot machines. My relationship with slot machines is a bit of a complex one, partially because my dad actually had a lot of judgment of slot machines. When I was growing up, the government invested a lot in gambling and slot machines, and my dad worked for the government, and I think that he saw it as that taking away funding to the areas that he worked in. And so there was quite a lot of kind of charge and energy around slot machines in my world, and the wrongness of them. That said, there was also kind of I used to play them about 10 years ago. And I did for a few years, and I used to do that. I liked to play them because when I was doing it for the fun of it, it would kind of create this relaxation in my world, the repetitive motion. It would kind of put me in a meditative state, and I kind of just enjoy playing the game. There were times where it was a little bit more addictive than that. I didn't lose a lot of money, but I did judge myself when I did lose. And I think that there was an addiction of the wrongness of me tied up in that as well. So there's quite a kind of complex relationship with slot machines that I've had. But there was also these times where there was these magical experiences, and it taught me about what I'm capable of in terms of creating differently and magic. So there would be moments where I would, there would be times where I would jump on, and if I wasn't, effectively this kind of ties into the willingness to be the dominance of in my own world and have my energy dominant, okay? There would be times where I would play from a place of reaction to the outside stimulus and other people's realities and what I was aware of in their worlds. And I would try and play as a way of kind of escaping all of that. And when I would do that, I'd often judge myself and go into the wrongness. It wasn't much fun. But there was also these moments that I would have where usually it was right before, there was something that I wanted to go to, or I required a certain amount of money for something, but there wasn't much time to create it. And so I kind of ask for it to show up, and then I get this hit to jump on a machine. Now, at this time, this correlates with me learning theta healing. So which was about 10 or maybe 12 years ago or something, which is a meditation technique that assists you to kind of use the energy of the universe to conduct energy healing sessions. There's all sorts of cool capacities entangled with or that are talked about within that modality. So, you can connect to and communicate with angels, other entities, perceive the future, bend time, just like really different kind of, telekinesis, that kind of thing. So there's all sorts of cool capacities that are talked about and that you practice in those classes. And I was obsessive about learning that modality. And so I was in that brainwave a lot, and I was doing a lot of kind of commanding of energy and really tapping into kind of like being in oneness with everything. And so there would be these times where I'd get this hit to jump on the machine, and I would know it was kind of like different to the other times where I just kind of like would be playing. These times it was like I knew with like such a certainty that I was going to win. It was like, no, this is my game. And I knew that I would be coming out with money. And there was kind of like this intensity and this control with that and this demand. But there was also kind of like this engagement with the machine where it sounds weird, but it's like a locking in place where you kind of like tapped into it and you can receive from it and kind of be one with it. And from that, it was like, or the algorithm of it. And so from that, it was like I would be able to follow the energy and know exactly what setting to put it on to make it pay out. And I'd do that, it would pay out, and then I'd be in question and I'd change the setting if it was required. And it would be this awesome kind of like flow of just like, getting free spins or winning, and then it kind of like, happening and happening and happening. Or not really happening, just me creating it maybe. Or allowing the universe to contribute to me, whatever way you want to kind of put it. What was interesting about it was such an acknowledgement of my magic. There would be such a, like, I'd be in this kind of like zone when that would occur, and I'd be so present with it. And it was throughout that presence that it allowed me to kind of get a sense of when I would step out of flow with actually receiving that magic. So if I was going to win, there would be this energy of excitement. There would be this knowing, there would be this kind of like control energy also. And there would be no judgment. I wouldn't be judging myself. Even if, it wasn't looking like I was going to win, I would know, and I would not be judging myself. I would notice if I got off the path or out of flow with the machine or out of flow with winning, I'd start to judge myself. Those thoughts would come in. I'm going to lose it. I'm going to run out. I'm not going to have enough money. I'm so bad. I'm so wrong. Da, 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 da. Now, I think energetically, I was tapping into all the people that were playing the machines. And when I was out of flow with what it is that I truly desired as the source of me and what I was creating, I think that's where I was allowing their judgments of them to kind of influence. But then I would course correct. And then when I'd course correct and make a different choice in those moments, I'd win again. And the judgment would go away. And I think that is such a great lesson, if you're willing to receive it, in how to play the game of creating your reality. If you find yourself judging yourself all the time for what choices you're making, are you going against yourself? Whose reality are you validating with those choices? What brainwave frequency are you on that you're tapping into that's making you tap into everybody else's judgments? Where are you using those judgments to berate yourself and judge yourself? And if you were in flow with your source, if you were in alignment with your source, if you were being the controlling demand, the one that with total presence and engaged with the universe, what would you be choosing to create what you wanted? Do you know what you want? Because that kind of thing, that level of kind of magic or creation can work if you know what you're headed towards. But if you don't know what you're headed towards, that's where, you'll be kind of like flying all over the place, maybe getting lost in other people's judgments. So it's good to kind of know. But yeah, I wanted to share it because I would like people to know these things are possible. And I know that there will be some people that will watch this and they'll kind of go, okay, so you won a couple of times and now you think that you've got like magical capacities. That's okay. Like, these videos aren't for you if that's where you're at. I think that to people who understand energetics, when you have energetic experiences, the energy is there. There's a knowing there, and unless you're in that moment or you've experienced something similar, you might not get it. Okay. But yeah, to those of you that are willing to receive that, I'm hoping that it will help to unlock something in your world hearing it. Not necessarily about slot machines, but is there any place in your world? Because here's the other thing with this. There would be this like conflictual world with playing these machines, as I said, partially because of my dad's reality. But it created such a conflict in my world where it was almost wrong to win and it was wrong to tell anyone about it. So in a sense, there was like this needing to hide it, but in the needing to hide it, that also meant that I couldn't totally acknowledge and have that capacity. And when you've got that conflictual universe going on with a capacity, or you're trying to hide a part of you because you've decided like it's too sinful and wrong and evil to show the world, then you actually hide so much more of you and your world can't show up physically. It makes it a lot harder for the universe to contribute to you if you're hiding parts of yourself. Okay? And so what I kind of like wanted to invite you guys to look at is there something in your world that you're hiding? And what are you hiding it for? What are you making wrong about it? Because what if it isn't wrong? If you enjoy something, what if it isn't wrong? But also, whose reality are you validating with the wrongness? Because that's the thing, is it's like, if I use that as an example, people aren't supposed to be able to control or tap into machines like that and win. And, some people might say, well, prove it, do it now. I don't use the machines like that anymore, partially because of the addictive nature of them. And I didn't want to get to a place where it had control over me. But also, I looked at the energy of, if I was to be creating the future that I want to create, and if I had the business that I wanted to have, would I be playing it? Now, there can be times, if you wanted to explore this capacity, if you get a hit and you go and play and you win and take that money out, awesome. But these things do have kind of like energetic vortex type things attached a lot of the time, and they can pull you in and then they can suck a lot of time out of your world. So, and that's what I didn't like, is that it would kind of waste my time. And there's other things that I can use with my time. And I think I learned what I needed to learn from it. From there, I actually went on to start trading the stock market instead of using slot machines, because it allowed me to have, to use that capacity of presence to and that question, and you know, just those abilities in a different way. But yeah, I wanted to invite you guys to look at, is there someone somewhere in your world where you are hiding? What are you judging as wrong? And what is the capacity that is connected to that you could be using to your advantage? If you weren't making yourself wrong, if you weren't validating the wrongness in other people's worlds, who cares what they think? They don't have to know about it. You don't have to hide it, but it's like, if you don't validate the judgment in their world, you also, like, it's like you get out of the hiding of it, but it's like, then they also don't have to know about it, you know? Like it's the place where you're reacting that creates the invalidation of your reality. So what if you were actually willing to acknowledge your reality and choose to have the capacities that you have and build the muscles? Because all of these strange capacities that we have, they do require muscle building. The more you use them, the greater they will be. But if you stop using them, they diminish. So what ways can you actually build the muscles that you have that would allow you to be more magic? So I hope that those of you watching this have got something out of this. If you have any magical capacities that you would like to talk about, feel free to write to me or leave a comment. I would love to hear about them. Like, the weirder the better. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment also. I just also wanted to tell you a couple of things that I have coming up. For those of you that are believers or knowers that you create your reality and you would like more ease with that, and you would like perhaps some weird creative companions that can cheer you on, I've created an online Create Your Reality monthly membership where we get together each month, we address the energy of what's up, do some energetic work to change any mindset blocks, and, you know, just do whatever else is required to keep us on path with where we want to get to, so that we're not kind of like knocked off balance or not choosing. So if you would like to join us, I will leave a link below this podcast so that you can find us. Also, I have on the 6th of June, being the source, the 10-week exploration coming up. Now, that is a program for people who truly believe that they are the creators of their own reality, but would like more ease with bringing that into physical form. So what happens a lot of the time in childhood and through the relationships we have and the points of view that we adopt in order to fit in with everyone else's realities, we tend to give up parts of our energy with everything that we solidify. So throughout the 10 weeks, we will be unraveling the energy that you have in your subconscious related to your relationship with your family, your relationship in general, your relationship to money, your relationship to your future, your relationship to your body, your sexual reality, you know, just so many different areas, so that that energy becomes more free flowing, and that you can then use that energy to create a future instead of locking yourself in the past. So if you would like to check that out, I'll leave a link to that as well. And if you have any podcast topics you'd like me to talk about, feel free to get in touch, leave a message, yeah, I'll do my best. Thank you so much, guys. I'm very grateful to you all for listening to me. Bye.